Dragalicious. My name is Lydia.
Yeah, I'm Kenny G.
And today we're going to be...
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Aggretsuko, Season 5. I don't know if we did a Season 4 talk, but we have talked about Aggretsuko in the past, because it was an anime... I don't know if you call it anime.
Yeah,
sort
it's
of anime that we enjoyed, and it was a good, like, slice of life / commentary on working life in Japan.
Yeah.
Specifically, like, Season 1, I think, was, like, killer on commentating on just the way women are treated in Japan, which is very,
in the workplace,
especially in the workplace. It was mostly about in the workplace, but there was also social commentary. Right. Was it Season 3 where they got into the idol stuff and how idols were treated poorly too?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's a lot of very interesting stuff, but in Season 4 it kind of fell off the edge, or it kind of petered off with Haida like becoming like this high achiever guy,
like a gym dude.
Yeah, he was a gym rat / CEO, like CEO or the CEO's buddy or something. And then he got fired in the end because he had a last minute heel turn back to being a good guy. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Guys, we're talking about Season 5, and I gotta tell you,
we binged the whole thing.
We just binged the whole thing, and in my personal opinion, the worst season ever.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that, because I just read a review like a few minutes ago that talked about how it was like an incredible thrill ride. But I don't know who the heck thought this was an incredible ride. This was terrible.
Yeah, I feel like empty inside.
Everything was like poorly written, poorly executed.
Yeah.
Like it starts off here, like you can see the still we have up on screen. Obviously, we can't show you any of the actual footage or anything like that, but we can show you a few stills here or there. But I mean, it starts off with like a nod to Dragon Quest, right? That's really what this is, a nod to Dragon Quest or MMOs, but specifically Dragon Quest is what they're nodding to here, right? Which is a big deal in Japan,
right?
Big deal. It's the game that, they like stopped the whole economy. They had to like make Square have to release games on weekends because, or not Square Enix, but made that company have to only release their games on weekends because people took the day off to buy the game. Like, Dragon Quest is a big deal in Japan. Huge. Anyways, this is kind of where it starts. Our hero, Haida here, who's...
I guess technically the hero is Aggretsuko, but because in namesake only, though. Because really, I like his journey, and I want to follow him more.
Yes.
Right?
I think over the years, you cheered for him so much.
Yeah.
Right? And Aggretsuko kind of burned him a lot of times over all the seasons.
Yes.
And so they're finally a couple at the end of Season 4. Coming into this, he's jobless because of how Season 4 ended.
Yeah.
And they don't treat him well.
No.
They treat him very poorly.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a commentary on things in Japan, but...
And men get treated poorly.
How you get treated and how you're only valued for your job. But I thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely terrible how they treated the guy.
Yeah.
And how they made even Aggretsuko, who's the heroine of the tale, right?
Yeah.
Just an unlikable person.
Yes.
Just absolutely unlikable. I mean, Lydia, give us some insight.
Yeah, so essentially, like you said, it starts off at the beginning. He's depressed because he's unemployed, because what happened was he cooked the books because he was forced to, and then he resigned. So essentially he's trying to, I guess lick his wounds in a sense by doing some gaming. And I think that's fine.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. And it's a weird soon as this season started, I immediately was like, whoa, I don't know where you think you're going with this, Netflix, but this is like, you are trying to burn the wrong people.
Yeah.
It felt like almost like an attack on like people trying to just like catch their breath. Right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of people who are burned out. Our society is like, especially like North America, and I know this is a Japanese thing, but Japanese too, like they have one of the highest, off themselves rate in the entire world because of burnout, right? And we're not that we're not that far behind in
And we're
North
not that
America,
different,
right?
right?
We're not that. We all feel the same feelings,
Yeah.
which is like, there's got to be more to life than just work.
Yeah,
right?
like we're all kind of at the feeling of late stage capitalism, and this was very much like
get back in the grind.
Yeah,
Get back in the
yeah.
grind. And so he's trying to blow off some steam after like literally going through like something super traumatic.
Yeah.
And the response is Aggretsuko and all her coworkers, like what's her name here?
Fennec.
Fennec.
Fenneko?
Yeah, Fenneko. That's her.
Mhm.
And everyone just being like, "How's Haida? How's Haida? He should get a job. Why doesn't he have a job yet?" Right?
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Haida's just trying to blow off some steam, playing games with his online gamer pal. I forget the character's name, but yeah, it is really, really weird. And then you have this whole thing where he gets ejected or
Evicted from his home
right, by the father,
by his own father who owns the building.
right, and then he immediately starts complaining about why don't you have a house, and it's like that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Because he would have a place to live if you didn't immediately like evict him.
Yeah, yeah.
Or whatever. A more interesting story I thought was his friendship with this person online.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I thought it was more like
Actually real?
yeah, like the commentary on like making a friend online and that person's struggles.
Yeah, yeah. And like what really bothered me about this season, guys, and I as you guys know on Dork Delicious, I'm a hopeless romantic. And we have been cheering these two on forever. And like nothing really like I know Japan's not into PDA and stuff like that, but it would have been nice to see like some sort of like friendship. Like it just felt like Aggretsuko was very mean and like
she was super nasty to
Yeah.
her loved one, right?
Yeah.
And it's like in the later half of the season when suddenly things start picking up and it goes in a weird way,
yeah.
weird direction, which we'll get to in a few minutes.
Yeah, spoilers,
but,
obviously.
Well, this whole thing is a spoiler
Yeah, I
cast,
guess so.
right?
Yeah.
But it was completely like all the support she gets from Haida in the second half. It's completely unearned because she was
Yeah.
completely not supportive of him
Yeah.
when he needed. Okay, so this screenshot I've got up right now is literally a screenshot where they talk about men not having a job and how they become lazy gamers
Or gym rats.
or gym rats. And that's the two things they become when they're jobless. And it's delivered in like the worst way.
Very aggressive.
Very
Yeah.
aggressive. And then Aggretsuko buys into it like a dummy.
Yeah.
And immediately tells Haida she can't see him anymore until he gets a job.
Which is disgusting.
Which is like the most disturbing. Like, I don't know what you're thinking, but like that, it made her so disgusting
Yeah.
of a character that I just couldn't buy into it. Right?
Yeah.
I couldn't buy into like even liking her.
Yeah.
Like, she's the main character.
Yeah.
You're supposed to like this lady.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I don't want to baby him by, giving him the necessities of life. So I'm just going to like.
She doesn't want to be a partner. She wants him to have like a partner is supposed to support the other when the one's down, right?
Yeah.
And she just does not. She just
She deserts. She's
nope.
like, GG's out of here. Yeah.
Peace out, right?
Yeah.
So going through these screenshots here, you've got like where this is his brother Jiro who kicks him out of the
Apartment.
condo
Yeah.
or whatever they're in, right?
That the dad owns. And
That the
like
dad
that's very much a
owns.
commentary on like boomers and how they own like a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
And like it's not doing him any it's not making him like less rich by having his son live there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the boomer mentality of being like, well, I'm inconvenienced, therefore fuck you. Which like this the Aggretsuko is good because it does touch on some things, but just it's too chicken shit to like go deep into the things.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all surface.
I very much felt that, especially with this season.
Yeah.
And they touched on it just briefly with the net cafe, right?
Yeah.
Which we've got here, which is a real thing that goes on in Japan. Is there are a lot of people that are down on their luck.
Can't afford rent.
Can't afford rent. They have to stay at capsule hotels or manga cafes and stuff like that. And he's in our hero here. He's down on his luck and he needs to go to a net cafe
because he asked his friends if he can stay on
and
their couch
they wouldn't
and they
help
said no.
him.
Yeah.
And
Which
Aggretsuko
sucks.
has banned him from hanging out with her
Until he gets a job.
So he's like he's been abandoned by everyone.
His family, his friends,
his
loved
family,
one.
his friends, his loved one, and essentially the response from the anime is, "Look at this loser."
Yeah.
Not, like, whoa, there's something wrong with society. That we're looking at this person as this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Instead, the anime is like, look at this loser.
Yeah.
And look at all these other losers who are at the net cafe.
Yeah.
So, he goes to the net cafe. He finds out that his friend that he made online is actually a girl, and she's very
nice to him, and like, and what I liked about this, okay, so the fact that like, I mean,
this is her here.
This is her here. It did touch on like a subject that is very touchy as well, because a lot of women have to masquerade as men online so that they don't get harassed.
That's a good one. That's a good commentary.
That was.
She said that she had to fake she was a man because the second they found out it was girls, like, you want to hang out, you want to go out, like that she was a girl gamer, right?
Right, and that's a huge thing they could have jumped into.
It's very, very true that people
treat you different.
They treat you different when they know you're female, and they do not respect your boundaries. Right,
that too. Yeah.
Or do not allow the natural progression of a friendship to happen before being like, let's go hang out together, right? It's like, no, they're just like, you're a girl, let's hang out.
Yeah, Netflix and chill. You're like, no, please, like I have value other than I'm a female playing games. Like, it's or just like, you go back to the kitchen, make me a sandwich. Like, it's like there is a very toxic community for gaming for women. So I mean, that was nice that they just
skimmed it like by accident almost. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the theme of this show is that they don't really dive deep into anything.
Which kind of sucks, right? Because like these are profound problems that we're having in our society.
I'm gonna tell you this: 4 seasons I rooted for this couple to form and become a couple, and literally in 1 episode I was like, I'd rather see him with this girl.
Same.
Right?
Yeah, it sucked. Like she like Aggretsuko just like ripped his heart out, and like how do you do that to someone?
Don't call me or contact me until
you have a job.
Yeah, until you have a job. It's like,
fuck you.
If my self-worth is defined by my job, go F yourself.
But, like, why is this? Why are we even here?
Yeah, like why even be a couple? Because it's like your value of Haida here is just, does he make money?
Yeah.
Right. Like any real relationship is based on you two actually liking each other's company,
right?
Not what I can get out of this person.
Yeah.
People who have relationships based on financial benefits fall apart the second those benefits are no longer in place.
Right. Exactly.
Right. I mean, this is just 101 type shit.
101 relationships. Yeah. So, anyways, he befriends this lady, and then I guess I'm like,
he's trying to apply for jobs.
Yeah.
He's trying to apply for jobs because,
because he can't see his girlfriend otherwise.
Yes, she won't allow him to see. She won't allow him to see her without having a job.
Yeah.
So he's trying to apply for jobs. Then it mentions the whole issue of, well, how do you apply for a job when you don't have an address?
Right.
Right. And that's a very, very valid comment.
That homeless people experience. Because they're like, get a job, homeless guy. It's like, yeah, okay, good fucking luck. Okay, everything in this life is pay to play. You gotta pay to stay somewhere. You gotta pay to dress up. You gotta pay to get to the job interview. Like, everything is pay to play.
For your education,
right?
Too, right.
So like that's a huge problem. But they're just like, oh. Netflix is like, we're gonna just scrape the surface, but no further.
And this lady kind of represents the new school attitude of like Gen Z and younger, who are just like, hey, why the heck even take part in the rat race in general? Because it sucks. Yeah. Why even bother? Like the entire thing is you go to school your entire life, from 8 or whatever, or 5, I guess, 5 till 18, you go to school, then you go to college
or university.
You get this extra education, and then what happens? You go get some dead end job where you're going to be doing the same shit every day.
You can't get good jobs without experience, so you got to go get experience, and it's all like a paradox.
It's a rat. That's why they call it the rat race, guys. Trust us as people that are going through it or have gone through it. The commentary, the Gen Zers are the smartest fucking ones because they know exactly what's up because they're observing it, right? They're observing what's happened to millennials and all the generations before them.
Yeah.
And
like,
they're
I'm
just
not
like, I don't want that. I don't want that for my life, to go to shitty, crappy jobs.
Just so I can work to pay rent. Like,
just so I can pay rent.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, I choose not to participate.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of profound information I just kind of dumped. But they kind of touch on it in the anime here, but they very quickly gloss over that these people are just losers who won't get a job, right?
Right.
And they meet this dude here who's a construction worker, and then he gets injured on the work site.
And then just kind of disappears.
He disappears because he doesn't have money for health benefits and all that stuff,
and to stay here anymore. So, like, essentially, this guy becoms homeless and disappears from the show. You don't hear from him for the rest of the season.
You don't hear from him at all, except you see him in a still at the very end during the political rally, which we'll get into.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, but that's a commentary too, right? Like if you get, like, essentially this guy is using his body for work, right? No different than, like, you know, a sex worker or whatever. Everyone uses their body to make money.
Everyone uses whatever skill they have
Yeah.
to make money. If you're good at, like, logical, you might do programming or, you know, banking or something like that. But everyone uses whatever skill they have. Yeah. So someone who uses their body.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so this guy, this poor freaking guy gets injured on the job. And, like, that's a commentary too, because we really don't take care of our people. Like,
and they gloss over it too, because they bring it up, but then later in the season, when there is a time where things can be, you know, like they can make a change for these people who are down on their luck, like Shikabane, and I can't remember the dog's name, but they don't. They don't
even,
right?
like, mention them.
Because that'll get us into the second half of the season, which is somehow through stupidity.
Yeah,
Aggretsuko
Yeah, it just takes a weird turn.
Yeah, Aggretsuko gets pulled into doing politics, right? And what a boring ass subject to get involved in. Like, why the heck would you even do a season about politics? But it's just the worst decision ever.
Yeah, and sorry, really quickly, because I saw you forwarded over something. So essentially, then these two think that, okay, so they go to his house to confront him. Someone else is living there. And then they're like, oh, he's cheating on me, right? And then it cuts to, like, him. He's, like, working himself dead.
He's passed out. He's working himself dead so that he can see his girlfriend. But his girlfriend won't let him come see because of the whole you don't have a job.
Yeah, so he's working these labor jobs to just to feed himself, just to live in this thing. And this other lady takes, like, pity on him because she's like, oh, my God, you're dying here, dude. Just share a room with me, right? And they come to confront him and basically treat him like trash. Right? Yeah, exactly.
If I fast forward a little.
Because they're like, oh, he's sleeping with this girl. Oh, my God. Tell him to yell at him because, you know, yelling at him is doing a great job of making him feel better.
Raging out on him is really solving all of our issues, right?
Yeah.
So this Fennec goes and spies on them, finds out that he's friends with this person who ends up being a girl, and that leads to drama that is just made up drama because they're not a couple. Haida and Shikabane are not like that. They're just friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's
they're
just helping him out.
They're just homeless friends because, you know.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Like, the entire take on this entire season is just, everything is just terrible.
Yeah.
Everything was terrible, and after, like, episode 3 or 4, I was just like, when is this gonna be over?
Yeah, because I'm like, maybe it'll take a turn. Maybe, like, we'll see some, like...
Even like, okay, here they are chatting on the bench.
Because, like, they're all yelling at him in the karaoke.
They're all in there grilling him, treating him like shit because he met up with this chick. And it's like, he wouldn't have gone there if you hadn't abandoned the guy and forced him to go underground, basically.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a job.
Right.
Like, what a disgusting commentary.
Yeah.
And then to be like, they're in the right and he's in the wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I don't know. The whole thing is just disgusting. Even the train ride home after they get him, and Aggretsuko, he's like, do you hate me? And Aggretsuko's like, no. It's like, well, I fucking hate you, Aggretsuko.
Yeah.
Like, you're a fucking piece of crap.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
How do you do this to your boyfriend?
This is your significant other, and you're treating them like a piece of crap. But I don't know. I just felt like this whole thing was just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It was
terrible.
terrible.
I don't know.
And then he kind of...
Then they get into the mundanes of having a relationship and how he's making noises and it annoys
leaving his
her.
socks places. Oh my
it's
god!
Like, yeah,
hilarious. It's
I don't get
this
it.
Is just what you deal with as a couple. Like, people got dirty laundry. People blow their noses. Like, get over it. Like, that's immature. I don't know.
And then they get into this middle arc where it's meet the parents, which is very
dumb.
stupid and boring. And it's like, first they meet the parents on Aggretsuko's side, and then they meet the parents on Haida's side. And Haida's parents are of the political.
Both sets of parents are assholes. I think
they're both terrible.
Yeah.
There's some stuff here where this guy takes a photo, does a family photo, and clips Haida out of it.
Yeah.
Which is right here. Yeah, he's doing a photo.
No,
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. It's just dumb. You're just like, okay, because that's the implication is that, like, he's not going to be around for very long, so we'll just put him at the end, right? Yeah.
The whole thing was just terrible, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Then the shit gets into the politics, and you're like, oh, let's become politicians. You're like, what? Like, at least if it was like, what would have made sense to me? Oh yeah, and then the rich guy comes, and then you're like, oh, is the rich guy gonna hook up with this other lady? And then that never happens. Like, so many like loopholes that don't get closed. It's really dumb. Anyways, sorry. Okay, so Haida's comes from a political family, and his brother is running for office because his dad's getting sick. So, for some reason, some random guy is like, oh, Aggretsuko, you need to run for politics, and you're just like, why? Like, oh, because you're grouchy. And you're just like, okay.
You're angry.
What would have made more sense is for Haida to have run for politics, because he experienced life at the bottom of the barrel. He understands what these people are suffering.
He's abused by his family, right?
And what a better way to give the fuck you to your family, but then by running against them in their, like...
their prefecture or whatever it is.
Because, that was only one house seat, and that had been... taken on by the dad for many years, the incumbent, right? I think it's called incumbent.
And he's gonna pass it on to his son,
which is nepotism in its own way. But it would have been like a good FU for Haida to run against his brother. But for some reason, that didn't happen. Yeah.
There's even this terrible scene here where they're at the pond, and he's expressing how his dad treats him poorly because of something went viral on YouTube or something. Yeah. And then she's like, I agree with your dad. And it's just like, whoa, you are just the worst
girlfriend
partner ever. You're just you do not deserve Haida after all the seasons this guy pined over you. Yeah. And it's like, you do not deserve him at all, because at this late stage, you literally just watch them abuse him. Yeah. And you're like, I agree with your dad. And it's like,
you're a dick.
I'm just like, I don't get it. Are they trying to make us hate Aggretsuko?
I do.
I do. I don't like her at all. I think you guys did a terrible job.
She's supposed to be this heart of gold person, and even this confrontation, that was you think that a good girlfriend would have backed up your boyfriend, being like, yeah, he's right, and instead it just
she's like, yo, down, tame, don't get angry, don't get angry. And it's like
what the hell,
guys, it was just terrible. Everything about it was terrible. I don't really know what else to say, except for then we get into the political arc.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Why don't you give a little summary of what happens?
Oh, I don't know. It's stupid. Some guy comes and is like, I need to talk to Aggretsuko right away. And you're like, who is this guy? It's like, oh, I'm part of the rage category, and we lost all of our seats, and now we need to I'm like, why would you pick this person? Why wouldn't you pick Haida? Haida would have
actually has some political
knowledge
and persuasion and heritage and
it just,
I don't know.
I feel like that was just
and then they never leverage him either.
Never.
Right? Even when
he plays the guitar. Wow.
In the very last episode,
he gets hit by a truck. They try to kill him at some point because they're like, oh, he's too powerful, right? Let's run over Haida with a garbage truck.
to our campaign.
Yeah.
So they literally hit him with a truck.
Yeah.
And then they play it off like, oh, it wasn't him at the end, right? It wasn't your brother that did it at the end, even though they literally imply that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if it wasn't him, then how did he know it even happened?
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Exactly.
If he didn't they didn't go to a hospital. He didn't report it or call it in that he got hit by this truck. So how would the guy even know that it happened unless he was in on it?
Like, what a shitty brother. Hey, let me hit you with a truck. Let me try to kill you because you're threatening my legacy. Like F off, dude. Like everyone treated him so poorly except for this lady.
And then she even gets burned by Haida, which is just the worst. Haida gets put back into the rat race because of fucking Aggretsuko, which is just the worst.
Yeah.
And then he comes to meet her and basically grill her about how she should change her life to be more like his.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, no.
And that she needs to get back in the rat race, and she's just like, no.
Yeah.
And she does kind of say, like, you know, the Zoomer, the Gen Z stuff about how, you know, I don't want that. I don't want that for a life, to just my entire life to be grinding.
Yeah, it sucks.
Right? And they're exactly right. Yeah. And she is exactly right in this anime.
Yeah.
And they gloss over that too, because then like 1 episode or 2 episodes later, she's looking for a place to,
like an apartment.
And you know, obviously you have to have a full-time job to pay for an apartment in Tokyo, especially with the cost. So it's like living in New York City, right?
Yeah,
like you don't live in New York City without having the monies, and the implications of it are just so dumb.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. Because it's like Aggretsuko goes to her at some point to talk to her, which makes no sense at all.
Yeah, and then they have their own little karaoke thing. You're like, and then they just gloss over it. Like, could you say what maybe you guys talked about so that way we feel something?
Well, here, I'll tell you exactly why they didn't touch on any of it, right? Because there is no fix, right? So they just had like their rage out moment, and then everything is back and perfect and fixed.
This is like, the problem.
It's like that's fantasy. That's not how it really works in the real world. Like
last season, they were a bunch of chicken shits because the pig guy got fired, right? Because he's, you know, like a boomer who's unwilling to retire and unwilling to move with technology. And then at the end of it, they're like, for some reason he's back in. And you're like everything that happens has no meaning to it. And it's really annoying because, like, the first season was so impactful.
It was great.
And
it's just like the whole thing has just fallen completely apart.
They forgot who they were.
And I think this is it. I think this is the final season, right?
I hope so.
Someone was saying it's the swan song, which to me implies the final season, right? So, I don't know. Yeah, then she gets into her political stuff, and she's scared, even though she's gone so far. This guy, who's maybe one of the only earned moments in the entire season, is him being like, hey, remember when you gave me shit? Now it's time for you to give these other people shit too. It's like, okay, that at least has some weight because he knows he was a shitty boss.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you were right about me. You're right about this, but you gotta speak up or no one's gonna know the truth, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. She gets into like a rap battle where she's dissing the incumbent, and she's right, basically. And then the guy says something stupid like, I'm gonna ban people 65 or older from being a politician. Something called the 65 plus extermination law, which just sounds like the absolute worst thing you could possibly say.
Yeah.
And somehow that sways people, right?
Yeah.
Here's Haida getting hit by a car.
And then and then there was that like PTSD moment where he's like, am I ever gonna like get up from underground or something? I'm like, I didn't understand what that was about, like what that implied, because like he's like, we're all in boxes here, right? And it's true, but
he's okay. So this is maybe a slightly valid moment. He's talking about how even those who aren't in a cubicle in an office are stuck in some other trapped, it's like wage slave, right? It's like everyone still has to go to work because if you don't, you can't feed yourself. You can't have a roof over your head. I mean, come on. It's true, right? It's really sad because like that's life, right? Life is, guys, like we're getting into deep shit here, but it's like when you really think about it, like life is like mostly you grind for money, doing stuff you hate. You spend more time with your coworkers than with your actual family. Then you get old.
Then you're allowed to retire.
You're allowed to retire when the politicians decide it's so, and they'll raise the age retirement limit as well while you're getting older.
So you get 2 years of maybe enjoying your life before
and then
everything.
your health falls apart.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like you spend your entire life waiting for those like 65 plus so you can finally have a moment to rest. But when you're 65 plus, you're done.
Your body's done. Some people go into dementia early. Like, it's all the system is very rigged, not in your favor.
It's disgusting.
And it's sad.
And I mean, like, there's so much that this season could have touched on when they're just touching the surface of these subjects, right? Like, come on. Like, if you're really going to bring these up, you need to dive into them. You cannot be like, oh yeah, we're all chained. Anyways, off to marriage.
Yeah.
Because by the way, they get married after 5 seasons of waiting for them to become a couple. They get married in a slideshow.
Like in a single frame. And you're like, excuse me?
In a single frame, like in a transparent frame where they sign the husband and wife overnight after he gets hit by a car. He gives her an inspirational speech. Here it is right here. He's like, you can do this. I believe in you. And she's like, good idea. Let's get married. I don't know what marriage place is open at midnight, but apparently there is one in Tokyo.
It was just so dumb. You understand that we have been waiting for 4 seasons for them to get together. And, like, it was, like, a cheap, like, there was no lovey-dovey shit. Like, it was just like, we're married now. Here, sign this paper. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry.
It's just the worst.
It hurt.
It was terrible. I don't know what Netflix was thinking. I don't know if
the Netflix thing in here, she complains about how she's like, oh yeah, I watched Netflix and I want to enjoy the ending credits, but then it moves on to something else. And then this show actually does that thing. And you're just like, Netflix, you didn't even fucking listen to yourself. You know, like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what am I watching here? This is all garbage.
It's just the worst. And here's the
rap battle between them.
Rage battle.
I would have liked to have heard her rage because it's all probably very valid stuff that younger generations are feeling right now. And that's the whole point of media. We're supposed to see sides that we don't get to see, right? Like,
I don't know. They did a terrible job.
Yeah.
And then even here at the end where it's like, oh, suddenly we're making up with the brother. This guy like wanted you dead.
Yeah.
And now we're playing nice, right?
Yeah. So
and all the concerns of the purple-haired lady are just kind of blown off because the truth is this anime is funded by Netflix, which is a mega corporation, and they're too chicken shit to actually touch on the actual subject, which is corporations are the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, you're getting into political talk, right? Or we are, but that's what they're touching on. That's what this season is about. So if you're... It's really disgusting because essentially this season is saying, get back to work. Get back into the rat race if you're not in the rat race.
Which is what every employer since, the end of COVID, which that's not true because COVID's never fucking ending. But essentially a lot of places are mandating people to come back to work. Work from home was only temporary, even though it's better for you. F you because the bagel shop down the street isn't getting your business. So we need you back in this office. Yeah. It's just, it would have been so good to touch on any of these subjects in a deep dive, but they were just too chicken shit.
Yeah, it was terrible, guys. I hated it.
I hated it so much.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
And it was just the worst season ever.
Yeah.
I hope they never make another season of this.
I don't know how you can come back from this. I really, really did enjoy this show. We watched all of it, and it just, I don't know. It really sucked. It really sucked the soul out of me. Like, especially, and like, this is the thing, guys. It's so hard to watch new shit because you don't know if it's gonna end well. And then when stuff ends this, you're like,
about the fact we invested probably, we watched this series over 5 or 6 years. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So many years of following the adventure of Aggretsuko and Haida.
And you're like, oh, are they gonna in love? Are they gonna?
And it's just like in the last season, they just dropped the ball.
Totally.
Right? That's why sometimes animes that end in 12 episodes, at least it's like, okay, you got a beginning and an end, and it's over. Yeah. Right? When something goes over 5 years, you really need to nail the landing and they did not.
No.
Not even close. If anything, they destroyed all the goodwill for this series.
Yeah.
Because it was a terrible ending.
Yeah.
It was a terrible message about, you know what, all the Gen Z type concerns that are out there. Basically, shut up and get back in the rat race.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want. That's what Netflix wants.
Yeah.
That's what the values of this anime wants you to know is shut up and get back to work.
Yeah.
Right? Which is just terrible because those people, I'm upset on those people's behalf.
Yeah.
Because it's like those are valid concerns people have.
Yeah.
And it's just like shut up and go back to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no. This is why people are having insane like I don't even know what to say.
Well, here's the thing, right? With the invention of the internet, there are so many ways to make money nowadays. You don't have to go to an office. You don't have to do the grind. You can make your own business, and you don't have to have an apartment. A lot of people buy trailers or campers or whatever, and they go across country and they enjoy their lives and they do like fun stuff. Like that is an option now. You didn't have options like that back then because there was no way to make money before the internet. Newspapers. But that wasn't really a thing. What I'm trying to say is they're really trying to push this return to corporate life, which a lot of people are not buying. So I don't know.
Yeah, and especially like we're older watching this, but a lot of the people who watch this are younger.
Yeah.
And I just imagine this is a terrible message you're giving them, right? Like basically, the Gen Zers are gonna identify with that lady who was disenfranchised with life.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a real thing. Even people like we feel it, or even generations older than us feel it too. Right? And they're disenfranchised with life.
Yeah, like the only people who are, doing well is, they did touch on this here, are like the boomers who like took advantage of the economic bubble. And
yes, they do say that. Yeah, you're okay, Dad, because you made big during the economic boom.
Yeah.
And now things suck.
Yeah.
And you can talk down to us because we have less money. And it's like, all of that is a true statement. But then they immediately just move on.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, it's never like, I don't know. Nothing's ever addressed.
Like he was in the right place at the right time. That doesn't help any of the younger generation at this point. The only way that would help is generational wealth. If you croak and then pass it on to your freaking kids. But that's disgusting. Why can't we all just have a piece of the pie?
I just feel like this whole thing struck a chord for all the wrong reasons.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
It's like, it wasn't like, hey, we all need to come together or something, or, a real thing I truly believe is post-COVID, people are very grouchy.
Of course.
In general, right? And people are less trusting of others in general, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more hostility. Like if you just go out in the public, you just, hold a door for someone will be grouchy, like, what are you doing, right? It's like, hey, like this is or you go to a till, you're just checking out at a grocery store. The people there are angry, the people working the register.
Right.
And it's just like that's a much more like something that could be addressed and being like, guys, we need to come together a little and try to, not make life absolutely miserable. But to bring up a topic like this, which is like the most politically charged topic you can possibly pick, which is the system is rigged against you, and then essentially just brush over it and say, get back to work.
Yeah.
And
she lost the election too. So it's not like you're like, my hero. Yeah. You're just like, oh, well, what the hell was all this for?
Not to mention, like, she did not actually say anything she was going to do to make things better if she won the election.
Right. She's just being like coached by this old
like
fart.
This whole thing was like I feel like the entire idea of this was just terrible.
Yeah.
The approach of it was just I don't know. They just did not think ahead at all of what they were doing, and so everything, was just terrible.
It was like
just
a total
terrible
whoosh moment, like unnecessary story crap.
And it ends with this girl looking for an apartment, right, in Tokyo. And it's like, okay, but how?
Yeah.
How did she do that?
Nobody talks about it.
No, nothing is addressed.
Nothing.
And then they roll credits. Haida and Aggretsuko are married.
Yeah, they're married, I guess, but you wouldn't know it from looking
over.
at them. Yeah, because they're so miserable in each other's company.
They hate each other's guts, or she hates him at least.
Yeah.
He's madly in love with her.
Yeah.
And she is his password, and etc. etc.
Yeah.
But she just hates his guts.
Yeah.
Like, she's just nitpicking everything he does, shoving shit in his face.
Yeah.
The whole thing is terrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's all. We don't have to rant anymore because I don't know. I'm so done with this series. What do you think?
Yeah, no, same. I hated it. It made me hate it because I really liked it. Like, I even saw some like stuffies like in the store. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, I want to get some of these, and I'm like, you know what? The new season came out. Let me just watch it. And I am so glad I didn't buy those stuffies because I'm like, this, I would have like burnt it because I'm so freaking angry.
It makes me sad they effed it up so bad.
Yeah, because I actually
from
cared about her.
season 1 to here.
Yeah,
it's been like a continual decline, with this season being the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 1 was like lightning in a bottle, and they haven't gotten that since. And it's probably a good idea to stop here because they clearly cannot reproduce what they did in season 1.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Guys, let us know in the comments. What do you think? Are we way off base? Did we miss something? Let us know in the comments. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Give us a like and a share. Likes are very important for our channel, because it gives our tiny channel exposure. We need your help to defeat capitalism, so like our stuff. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our handle is YouAreDorkalicious, and we also stream live weekly on Twitch. Our handle is twitch.tv/super_delicious. Okay, this has been Lydia.
Yeah, I'm Kenny G.
And it's been fun dorking out with you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.